अगर कुछ अचीव ही नहीं किया तो क्या किया? All well that ends well. If this statement is true, it becomes very evident that we achieve what we have set out for. We achieve our goals in our lifetime. But how do we do that? How do we execute our plans to achieve our goals? In our last video, we discussed on developing a financial plan to achieve our goals. In this video, we'll deal with 5 steps to achieve them. So like this video and subscribe to this channel right away so this video reaches a lot of people and they can also achieve their goals. Step 1. Identify specific financial goals. So you may have many requirements in your life. You may want to buy a car, a house, or any other asset, any other gadget, whatever it is. An expensive vacation. Maybe you might have a goal for a better education for your kids. But each of these are separate individual targets. They're separate targets. And once the targets are separate, they are individual, they are unique. You cannot have one single plan to achieve all of them. You need to have separate plans to achieve all these targets. And that's why it becomes very critical to prepare a proper plan to achieve all of them. A proper, separate, dedicated plan for each particular goal becomes very vital for it to become success. So let me give you an example. You might have thought of accumulating a sum of 1 crore for a better education for your children. And when you eventually reach there, you spend that money on a vacation or on an expensive car. Does that make any sense? What about the goal that you have set out for in the first place? So if you need to buy a house, if you need to buy a car, and if you need to provide a better education for your kids, then these 3 are 3 different goals. You cannot set one goal to achieve your children's education or give your children the best education you can and use that money to buy a car or a house. That doesn't happen. I mean, that can happen if you're stupid, but that's not a very good plan to execute. So if you want a house, if you want a car, you have to make separate plans for your house and your car and then work on that goal to execute that and then achieve it. Set up a separate investment plan to take you to the point what you want to achieve it and by the time you want to achieve it. Now I said this, by the time you want to achieve it. That's a very important statement. That's a very important statement to break down our goals into 3 different zones. Number 2. So step 2 is break down your goal into 3 different zones. Small term, mid-term and long-term goals. So anything you want to achieve within a couple of years' time is a short-term goal. Anything you want to achieve within, say, maybe 5 to 10 years is a mid-term goal. Anything that you want to achieve beyond 10 years is a long-term goal. That's how you segregate them. Now you may ask, a goal is a goal. Whether I classify it or not, how does it make sense? I have to accumulate the money to achieve it, isn't it? That's a very fair question. And that is the very reason which makes us very important for us to segregate them. Why? Because the type of goal and the time frame that you have in hand would determine the amount of money you need and the time you need or the vehicle you need to put that money in to make it possible for you to accumulate that amount so you can achieve that goal. Now say suppose if I give you an example, you want to buy a gold ring for your anniversary next year. Now you possibly know the average rate by which the gold prices appreciate every year. And you know the current gold price today. So,
रिंग पसंद है?
हाँ.
now you can estimate what would be the price of your anniversary gift would be next year. Now you have that approximate amount that you can calculate. Now once you have that amount calculated, when you have that amount in your mind, it's ready, you can then break that amount into small equal intervals or equal installments and put it in a short-term fixed deposit, which can help you reach there by the time your next anniversary date comes in. Likewise, if you want to achieve something bigger, maybe a house or maybe a big luxury car or maybe good education for your kids, that's a long-term goal that maybe it might take 10-15 years for you to reach there. If that's so, you can approximately calculate the price of your children's education in that college, or maybe the price of a house that you want to buy 10-15 years down the line, an approximate estimate number, and you can break that down into smaller chunks and invest it in a long-term instrument, maybe in the market, in a mutual fund. That can help you reach there in 10 to 15 years time. Now see, I gave you two different examples, one in a fixed income instrument, the other one into the market. So you can put some here to achieve it. But that raises the most important question. What is that sum? How much into fixed deposit instruments? How much into the market? And here we enter the third most important aspect to our decision, the asset allocation. Asset allocation means allocating your money, your assets properly. How properly? That would depend on your age, your lifestyle, your family commitments, and your financial goals. So here it is, while allocating your assets, distribute them across different asset classes like gold, fixed income instruments, the market. This would give you a fair amount of safety if you have some money invested in gold and fixed income instruments, and the portion that is into the market would give you high possibility of growth. Just like I gave you the example, for long-term goals, you might put your money into equity markets because that gives you the possibility to grow your capital and appreciate your capital so that you can achieve that amount which you wish to achieve at that point of time. To do that, you need a high risk appetite to be in the market. But if you do not have a high risk appetite, if you don't have the capacity to take on more risk, you can diversify and put a major chunk into fixed income instruments or maybe gold. That's a good possibility. After all, your peaceful night's sleep is the most important thing on earth. You cannot have your money parked into the market and have sleepless nights. That's a bad way of living. So if you're absolutely allergic to the volatility of the market, you can skip investing in the market, or at least put a very small amount in the market and put the rest into fixed income instruments. But mind it, fixed income instruments will not grow your wealth to the proportion, and it might or might not be able to help you achieve the long-term goals that you have sought out for yourself. So, if fixed income instruments is your cup of tea and you also have huge goals for the long term, you would probably need to invest a lot more every month to be able to achieve that in the near future. Number 4, choose the right instruments. Arriving at the risk-return combination and choosing the right asset allocation can be very, very difficult. For a longer-term goal, it is advisable to focus on maximizing your returns by investing in equity instruments. While for a shorter-term goals, it is advisable to put your money into fixed income instruments. So the focus here is to diversify your investments into different asset classes and into different vehicles. Although there is no guarantee that if you diversify there will be no loss to your capital. But what it does is it minimizes the risk of the volatility that you can have in one particular vehicle. So the very well-known saying which says, do not put all your eggs into one basket. Number 5. So when you have done all of these, then comes the last and the most important factor is to review your plan that you have set up. To stay on track, regularly visit your plan and see your investments. Well, that does not mean to redeem your investments, but just to see your investments. See how they're performing, see where they are. Do you need to move them across? Do you need to shift them to a more safer assets? Do you need to shift them to a more volatile vehicle, to a more active vehicle? Review all your stocks and mutual fund portfolios and find out, are they lying where they're supposed to be? Or do they need a reallocation? Do you need to lift and shift them? Do you need to lift and shift them to a different vehicle, into a fixed deposit, into gold? Is the market conducive? Is the country's economy doing good? Or is it collapsing? Certain products may seem tailor-made for a specific requirement, but they may not be the correct goal for you. So be very, very careful of these products. You will see people coming to you and pitching these products. Be very, very careful. Well, that lays a blueprint in front of us to achieve our plan. तो चलो लग पड़ो अपने सपने सकारने में. But before you go, don't forget to hit this subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you get notified when the next video comes out. If you want to see the other videos in this playlist, this is where they are. Go ahead and click on it right now. As of this video, adios.